Dr. V.R. founder, Madras Development Society, and also founder, World Tamil Economic Conference Foundation, and Dr. Palni G. Perisami, who is chairing the session, and Mr. D.P. Yadav, Secretary Handlooms, and Muthuvel, who is organizing secretary, and Mr. Mahalingam, former ambassador, and delegates from all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. So, as you all know, this World Tamil Economic Conference, many of our colleagues, especially from Tamil Nadu, would have spoken about facilities, infrastructure, and administrative convenience, everything available in Tamil Nadu. How Tamil Nadu has emerged as one of the most attractive investment destination over a period of time. It's not developed within a year, it developed over a period of time. There are lots of efforts and energy have gone into this to develop Tamil Nadu as a pioneer in many sectors. Already Mr. D.P. Yadav spoke in detail about all the sectors. He spoke about automobiles, IT sector, or educational sector, or medical tourism, or any sector, you name it, textile, of course, leather also. So here I'm going to talk about leather and footwear sector. What I want to say that I don't want to elaborate on facilities or opportunities available in Tamil Nadu. I'm going to talk about leather and footwear sector, how this sector, though this sector is 4 lakh years old, as long as it's civilization, as old as its civilization, but how it could be a startup. So it is such an old sector, how could be a startup for today also. I'm going to talk about that one. So I initially talk about global scenario, then India and Tamil Nadu, then what are the opportunities for our global investors or businessmen or traders to come and invest in India, in Tamil Nadu, to get this opportunity. It's the right time. So if you look at the Indian leather and footwear, not only Indian leather, evolution of footwear industry, leather and footwear industry, I told it's as old as our civilization. It was existing in Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age. Even it also developed over a period of time. So initially, if you look at in 18th century, I'm not going back very long. I'm starting from 18th century. If you look at initially, it started with saddlery. Why saddlery? You just recollect it. And the initial period, we were hunters. Initially, we were hunters. We used to ride on horse. So initial product developed on leather was saddlery. So to distribute the weight of man on horseback, so that saddlery was developed. That is how this leather is developed. Then saddlery, then gloves, belts, everything started to emerge in 18th century. Then the sector moved to Germany and France in 1870. So that is how it originated. Initially, it started in especially cavalry. Then it gone to the countries, Germany and France. Then in the 19th century, from British, it went to USA and Germany. The sector moved to USA and Germany. And in 1950, Italy became the major export country for footwear. Then it moved to Japan. That is, you can imagine how the sector moves from Europe it went to America, from America it went to Japan, from Japan it went to China. Actually, the interesting point in China is the number 1 country in the export today in leather and footwear product. The China, all the industries, China is known for electronics manufacturing and other development of all other trade, and China is a global manufacturing house for almost all the product. So how the industry built? The Chinese industry built basically based on the leather and footwear sector. Actually, this sector employs the unskilled and semi-skilled people. Just it doesn't require any very big technology to learn something like that. So it is a core industry. Around this industry, all other industries had been developed. That's why China emerged in last 20 years. Then from China, this in Asian side, it is Taiwan, Vietnam, and China. These are the major hubs even today. So after that, now this is the time for India, because if you look back last 10 years, due to US and China trade disputes, and also off late after COVID issues, and also in the COVID wave 1 and 2, Taiwan is, Vietnam is a major manufacturing center. It produces more than 23 billion. So now after COVID and all these issues, now entire world is looking for India. That's why there is a huge potential and opportunity for this sector, leather and footwear sector. Here footwear means both leather and non-leather footwear, what I'm talking. So there is a huge potential for this sector in India and especially in Tamil Nadu. So if you look at the global trade of leather and footwear, its overall size is 246 billion US dollar. You know, as you all know, 1 billion is equal to 7,500 crores. That is the value of that industry. So it was 2009, 145 billion, it jumped to 246 billion in a decadal growth of 11.6%, something like that. So after that, industry is from 2014 in the industry is almost stagnated. That is, the growth is 1.6% only, but there is a brighter future. I will tell why, how it is emerging in a big way in the in future. So this is the overall industry size at the global level, 246 billion US dollar. So in this, what are the major components? If you look at the leather and footwear industry, there are major components. So one is leather footwear, another component is non-leather footwear, and footwear component industry, leather goods, leather gloves, finished leather. These are the major 8 sector sub-components in the leather and footwear industry. The major sector, if you look at this one, footwear plays a major role in production and usage. Even if you recollect your, I think many of us all above 40, if you recollect your childhood, many were walked without footwear in their childhood days. We were, even while going to school, without chappal or without footwear only we walked. Today, the scenario is totally changed. So this is due to growth of this footwear industry. So it was 88 billion in 2009, and it jumped to 130 billion in 2014, and today it is 147 billion. It includes 147 billion, includes both. Out of 147 billion, 80 billion is leather footwear, and remaining 60 billion is non-leather footwear. That is how this composition. So next one is leather goods. Leather goods includes leather bags, gloves, everything. Dr. Palani Periyaswamy, in the initial remarks, he told that branding, he told that Coach handbag, you might be knowing, it is produced in Pundamalli in Chennai suburb. Sir, the bag cost is $105. But in New York, it is $750. That is how the country image has built up. So this is how the product has developed, how Tamil Nadu and India is playing a major role. So who are the major trading countries? If you look at the major trading countries, as I already told, China is #1 trading country. If you look at the export, 78 billion export value. So if you add another 13 billion, it's the import. It is 81 billion. It's the biggest country in the world today, #1 country in the world for manufacturing and export and usage also. Of course, its population is 146 crore population. Next, we are touching also 140 billion. This is, China is the #1 country in manufacturing and export, and Italy. Italy, if you look at it, it's at 29 billion. So Italy is a small country. But you see, it is smaller than Tamil Nadu, you can say. But you see its value, how much it is producing, and it is exporting. Already Sir also told, Paris is a fashion house. Italy is a cradle for fashion. It's a fashion industry. If you take leather and footwear industry, it's a fashion industry. So Italy is a cradle for fashion industry. That is how traditionally it is very strong, and it is exporting in a huge way. India's position is 7th in position. So I'll give some data about India later on. So then these are the exporting countries. If you take a importing countries, major country, USA imports. USA doesn't have any leather industry, even footwear industry. They procure from all over the world. They purchase from import from all over the world. They import around 42 billion US dollar of material. So next major importer, Germany imports around 18 billion, and France it is 15 billion. It's a major trading countries in the world. So here I want to emphasize on footwear consumption. If you look at the graph, it is a world footwear production. It is 24.3 billion. This is actually our population is all over the world. The population is 7.5 billion, but we produce 24 billion. So this is a production. But still many countries in the world, they don't have the footwear. Reason is, if you go to USA, they use 9 pairs per person per year. That is a per capita consumption is 9 pairs. If you come to India, it is 1.9 pairs. If you go to China, it is 3 pairs per person, per capita consumption per year. So still African countries, they don't have, they don't use footwear. Still the many children, school going children and the older population, they don't have footwear. But some other countries, they are using in excessive way. Some countries, they don't have the footwear. So if you look at the top 10 footwear producing countries, China, it is 13 billion pairs they are producing. It is world share is 55%. India, it is 2.5 billion. But out of 2.5 billion, we also import some more. We totally use 2.6 billion. We consume 2.6 billion footwear in India. So our share is 10.7%, but export is very, very meager. Then next is Vietnam. That is export potential in Vietnam. Vietnam is smaller than Tamil Nadu. If you look at Vietnam, that is smaller than Tamil Nadu, it is exporting in a big way. These are the major countries. Even if you look at Bangladesh and Indonesia, they are also emerging in a very big way. So this is a global scenario. I come to India. If you look at India, why this sector is very, very important. This sector plays a major role in employment generation. Next to textile sector, this is a sector which gives a best employment opportunity. If you go to Cheyaru, there is Fengte shoe company is there. It's a non-leather, that is Nike. It's a contract manufacturer for Nike. What is the cost of Nike pair of shoes we are purchasing? We are purchasing from 8,000 to 12,000 Nike one pair. But the cost of production is 800 rupees, including their profit. But one important thing is they employ 26,000 people in one industry. It's a seeing is believing. If you go to Cheyyar, it is 1.5 hours from here. You see, you don't feel that you are in India. The kind of discipline, the kind of production, how the number of buses, around 600 buses they fly. So it is totally changed. If you look at the Cheyyar and Tiruvannamalai district in the last 10 years, the total socio-economic political atmosphere is totally changed now. The people, the next generation, how they are getting benefited. Because next generation, if you see, the children are getting education. Those times they don't get educated. They don't get education. Now all the children, they are going for professional degrees, doctor, engineer, or any other degree. They are going abroad. The scenery is totally changed. In this 26,000 also, it is 90% women. That is, Tamil Nadu is the only state in India which gives employment opportunity for 90% of in the industry. So when you empower women, that totally the further education is empowered, economy is empowered, that totally the society itself getting changed. That is the beauty of this industry. So here you don't need high, what you can say, very high value or education, something like that. Even a semi-skilled or unskilled employee can go and work there. There are 600 buses. They fetch the workers from in and around. They give the best health facilities, crutches, insurance policies. All this is highly disciplined. If any of you have time, you go and visit that industry, how it totally changed the total area. That is seeing is believing. So if you look at the Indian size is 18 billion US dollar. Out of 18 billion, our export always hovers between 5 to 6.5 billion. Our highest export was in 2014. It was 6.4 billion. Our domestic industry size is 12 billion US dollar. So it is, this is a industry size, but we also import around 1.5 billion. That is a finished leather, raw material, all those things we are importing also. But if you look at the growth of Indian leather and footwear industry, initially 1950-70, we were exporting only raw hide and skins. And hide skin collection is not organized in India. Actually, in villages, you would be seeing, in villages, you would have seen that one. They cut the goat and they cut the peel of the hide and skin, they salt and they send to the industry. But in foreign countries, it is cold storage, transport, and they export and process in a better way. But there is a huge opportunity for any investors to come and do it. So this one, if you initially what we did, we export only raw hide and skins. That is also the thing. When you export the raw material, you don't add any value. That is for any sector. It is not only leather and footwear sector. If you take textile sector or any other sector, when you export, you don't add any value, you don't generate employment, you don't any foreign exchange. So the government thought, the government government of India instituted 3 committees to study about this sector. Then they went for major value addition. They stopped export. If you want to export raw hide and skin, you have to pay 60% export duty. Now, of course, 40%. So government stopped that one. So the industry shifted for value addition. By that only it generated employment opportunity. It earned forex. So then major emphasis was given for modernization, expansion, technological upgradation. Everything was given. And now the current scenario is in 2021, the Council for Leather Export. This organization, Apex organization, which comprises of 3,500 members, manufacturer exporters. They spread all over India. So this organization, along with the Government of India, Department of Commerce, and with all the state government, now they have the vision to jump the industry from 18 billion to 30 billion in another 4-5 years. Is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. That's why there is a lot of opportunity in this industry. So we want to, on the next slide I show. So this is 17.5 billion. We want to increase our production for 1.7%. If we increase 1.7%, we want to increase our market size 30 billion. So that 5 billion export should jump to 10 billion. And 12 billion domestic industry size should go to 20 billion. So we are planning to achieve 30 billion growth. This is our target for next 5 years. So if you look at that one, if you look at this figure that already told domestic from 12 to 20 billion and export 5 to 10 billion. But what would the employment potential you would be creating? Right now, we employ 4.42 million. That it will go up to 5.92 million. That is around nearly 60 lakhs families will be employed in this sector. So if you look at the major manufacturing centers in India, of course, as you all know that even Mr. D.P. Yadav also told, he was collector in Vellore. There in this entire western this belt, if you start from Pundamalli, Vellore, Vanembadi, Ambur, this is one of the major production center. Of course, there is in E-Road and some industries are still exist in Dindukal and something in Trichy also. These are the major production centers. They produce finished leather, footwear, leather garments, leather goods, footwear components. And Uttar Pradesh is another major production center. Agra, it is 100% export oriented. If you take the global, any best brand footwear, it goes from Agra. It's 100% export oriented units. Agra. So Kanpur, that is another one of the oldest production center. Kanpur is the center for harness and saddlery. It is more than 2 centuries old, more than that. Okay, when British came to India, they established that harness and saddlery. That is how it, the cavalry, and how the industry developed there. So Agra, Noida, Kanpur, the major center in Uttar Pradesh. In Delhi also, leather garments, leather goods. Another one is Haryana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Puducherry, and one more center is Kolkata. Kolkata is famous for handbags, hand gloves, industrial gloves, any safety gloves. They supply all over the world. This is a major production centers in India. So why I insist, why I emphasize that India is the best destination for increase our manufacturing, especially leather and footwear. The raw material availability, it's the highest in India. That is not only the raw material, it's a premium quality raw material. If you take the soft leather, the most soft leather, it is available in India. If you look at the goat and the kid skins, it is 92% world production is from India. The same way sheep and lamb skin, it is 38% from India. Same way the bovine, it is 48%. The raw material, we have abundant raw material supply in India. So anybody wants to invest in India, they can invest, manufacture and sell in India. And if you want to export, export out of India also. There is a huge potential for this one. So this is our export figures. In 2002-3, it was 1.8 billion. Now we jumped to 5 billion. It is around 6 billion. There is a huge scope. If you look at the product wise, leather footwear, the total component, total industry size, 5 billion, 40% comes from, goes to leather footwear production. Next major is leather goods and other components are there. That is how our production started. And if you look at our export, the major export destination is Europe. Earlier we used to export around 65%. Now it has come down to 54-55%. And now the major major destination is US. US also our export has grown. It is around 15%. Earlier it was around 850 million. Now this year we may cross around 1 billion. That is our export is growing very fast in USA, but of course Europe also there is getting declined. But there are some reasons due to continuous lockdown, all those issues. But Europe and America is a major destination for our export. And another issue is institutional support. If you take any institutions, we have all these institutions. This institution is spread across India, and all these institutions are located in and around Chennai. If you take Footwear Design and Development Institute, it is located near Pundamalli. That institute is there. It gives education, training, and also on-shop, off-shop training. It is giving that also, and 3 years courses are available. And Central Leather Research Institute. It's a government of India sponsored organization. As you all know, it is located in Adayaru. And this is a backbone for research and development of leather and footwear sector. And leather sector skill council, it gives a skilling. Skilling is a major component. We last in one of the scheme, we skilled around 4.2 lakh people, something like that. So we skill all over India. We supply the huge abundant labor, manpower to the industry. And the Central Footwear Training Institute, that is also located in Guindy only. They also give training. And the National Institute of Fashion Technology. The fashion, I told you initially, this is a fashion industry, which gives, it is a fashion. Wearing footwear is like, if you look at it, they look at it as a fashion, and footwear as a fashion. They consider it as a fashion material. It's a fashion industry. You take it, I told you, the global brands. All these global brands are sourced from India. If you take Florsham, Prada bag, you know, handbag. Zara, Gucci, Coach bag, I told. It is the $105 here, it is $750 there. Clark shoes, Armani, Hush Puppies, Tommy. If you take any major brands in the world, all are sourced from India only. But still we are sourcing destinations. Still we could not establish our brand image. So which requires a lot of country image building and industry image building. High Design, you might be knowing, it's one of the best global brand, which is produced in Pondicherry. So this is all these brands. Louis Vuitton bags, you have heard. Louis Vuitton bags, it may be going lakhs, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, which are produced here only. So, but here the value of cost of production and everything, it's what I can say, it's low. We have lots of advantages for any manufacturer or any investor coming to India. They have advantage in labor, raw material availability, transport, and there is a huge incentives given by both government of India and state governments. There is a huge potential for any investors to come and invest in this industry. So this is some of the schemes which provide incentives to any investor, whether for development of tanneries or purchase of machineries or manpower training or anything. It's not only the Government of India scheme. Government of India gave 400 million. We completed the project for last 3 years. From 2017 to 2021 March, we got 400 million from Government of India. Now another scheme is coming. So this is from Government of India. Apart from that, state governments. If you go to Government of West Bengal, Government of Tamil Nadu, Government of Delhi, Haryana, any Maharashtra, any state government, there is interstate competition. Among the states, there is a huge competition to support industry. Whatever we get from Government of India, we immediately get 15% incentives from Government of Tamil Nadu for development of industry. I thank Government Tamil Nadu bureaucrats for this one. So their support is very huge. And that is, I am telling only for the government of India subsidy equal to that one. Apart from that, they also support the industry in a very big way for development of this industry in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is a major. Tamil Nadu in India, it exports around all India. This is a figure of 2019. 32,000, nearly 32,000 crore. That export was around 2 billion that time, 40% export. That is only for export. Domestic production also very high. Domestic production also out of 12 billion, I can say at least 3.5 billion from here, from Tamil Nadu. Same way, employment, total employment, we provide employment for 2 million people. So there is this opportunity which is available in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is the largest export of leather footwear, finished leather footwear components, and leather signed in leather garments, gloves, and goods. This is overall industry size. So what are the opportunities? I told about a global level, Indian level, and Tamil Nadu level, and where any investor. This is an economic conference. This is a wonderful initiative by Dr. V.R.Selvam. It's a much sought after. This today the world is globally integrated by trade and commerce. So it is beyond boundaries. Now geography boundary cannot stop anything. That is how the trade emerged in the last after liberalization. I don't want to talk on this one, but any investors, if you want to come and invest in leather and footwear industry, where is the opportunity? I tell you, there is an opportunity. Anyway, this opportunity, India is the second largest manufacturer of footwear. We produce 2.25 billion. We need another 2 billion in another 3 to 4 years. So right now we wear 1.9 pairs per capita consumption, but we need another 2 pairs. By another 4 years, we need at least 5 billion pairs per leather and non-leather footwear. So there is a huge production. Anybody can come and invest in India or Tamil Nadu. They can manufacture, they can market here itself. That's the opportunity. Footwear production. Next one is PU units. PU, whatever the non-leather material, we use a PU material. 90% it is imported. We don't have PU industry. There is a huge scope for any manufacturer to come and invest in PU industry. That is polyurethane. That is, if you take any sleeker athleisure footwear, athletic footwear, all these things, the PU material they are using. And scaling up, we look for both brownfield and greenfield investment. So whatever you are investing, it is 100% repatriable. You take your investment 100% back. And also there are single window clearance available in Tamil Nadu and government of India also. There is an opportunity for that one. Machinery, still we import 90% of the machinery, 98% of the machinery. There is a huge potential to come and invest in manufacturing of machinery. We import from China and Italy. There is a scope. And footwear components, the industry is scattered. There is a huge scope. So anybody who wants to come and invest and market in India, there is a scope. So with this, I conclude my talk about leather and footwear industry. If you have any doubts, apart from that, if you want to invest in India or Tamil Nadu, if you have any queries, kindly write us. We will be very happy to provide the inputs. Thank you very much. Thank you.